All right. Yeah, I think we're just as long as we're between the ages, I think that's a good spot.
Okay.
Ready? Here we go. Let's do it. All right. Welcome back, everybody. Raging On with Sherman and Michael. Welcome back to the show. Michael, always good to be with you.
Good to be with you too, Sherman. So, today, topic. So, you notice we don't have a guest today. We do. We're going to have another one a little later. We just had somebody reschedule. What's going on? We've been talking a lot about business and what's going on, why people get to the point that they're thinking about failing and things are not moving forward. I'm telling you, the last couple of weeks I've been going on, a lot of studying I've been doing is coming back to discipline.
Yeah.
It's motivation, discipline, and if you don't have the motivation, you'll never have the discipline. You know, we keep going back to Simon Sinek, start with why and all that, but you know, it's just interesting on that. What do you see and how have you seen with like the agents you're bringing in here?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to make six figures.
They do. Yeah. Everybody's got the greatest aspirations until like it actually rubber hits the road. And so one of the things actually kind of we take this back to the old John Wooden.
Right.
Right. Every season he would tell them how to tie their shoes.
Yep.
So that way they wouldn't get blisters.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to look at it and go, okay, so tell me, what time are you actually going to bed?
Yeah.
What time are you waking up?
Yeah.
Because if you're waking up at 7:30 for an 8 o'clock meeting in Houston, you're not going to get there on time.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we have to look at a little bit of that kind of discipline of like, let me tell you, who are you in terms of like, how are you managing your time?
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's not managing time, it's more like allocating, right?
Yeah.
But it starts before they actually get to the office.
Well, yeah, I was listening on the way into the office. I was listening to another podcast, and it was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh,
and
nice.
Arnold was talking about, you know, I had a goal. I always had a goal. I had something I wanted to achieve. And he came down and he goes, here's the thing, is we've all got 24 hours in a day. He goes, we've all got 24 hours in a day. And how do we use it? He goes, you sleep for 6. He goes, I got people that tell me I got to sleep for 8. He said, sleep faster. And he goes, you know, get it out, but what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. He goes, I know I've got to get ready for Mr. Olympia. I got to get ready for a movie part. I've got something there. I know exactly what I have to do. And that's where I see all the time when I bring business owners in. Okay, where are you going in 3 years? I don't know. Yeah. So how are you going to get there? If you don't know where you're going, there's no way you can have motivation.
Yes.
And if you don't have motivation, you're not going to be disciplined.
Yeah.
And go from there.
And it's really interesting just because I think you and I understand this on almost every aspect of our life except in business, right? Mm-hmm. So, for example, you and I are like, hey, let's go to Daytona Beach.
Yep.
Now, I don't know off the top of my head exactly what roads,
right, what
freeways, how much the tollway is going to cost, where are we going to stop for gas, which car would we take, right? I don't know all those details.
Right.
But what happens is you decide to start a business, right? Or you're running a business, and you think that you have to have every single detail ahead, every pit stop, every mile marker, in order for you to say, I want to go towards that.
Yeah, yeah.
And that couldn't be further from the truth. So for a lot of agents, right, they come on board. They might have been at a different place, a different firm. They're selling and offering a different risk management or an insurance solution, and they had a way that they did it there.
Right.
I almost need them to like rewire and reset, because the way that they did it there isn't the way we're going to do it here.
Right. I tell all my clients, I got one of my clients right now, law firm expanding, they just brought out a new lawyer, and this lawyer is going to run a department. And we're like, hey, you came from a bigger firm, you did things here, good. It's not, I want you to forget it. I want you to come in here for 90 days.
Yeah.
I want you to come in here for 90 days, observe how we do things. And then what I want you to do is say, okay, based on the observations that I made, I really like this. We could use some help here. We need to fix this and go from here. Don't just start fixing it.
Yes.
Because what's going to happen is if the rest of the team doesn't know what's going on, it's not going to help. Because there may be certain reasons why we do things.
Yes.
And we got to get there. But now what we do is we've given him 90 days. We're going to sit down and we're going to sit down with him and say, hey, all right, you've been here 90 days. Let's lay it out. Okay, leadership team, come in. Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's put together the issues off of these, and let's go solve them now. And now, but it's always going towards Daytona Beach.
Yeah.
Don't take us. Don't take us to Oregon.
Right.
Totally different direction.
Yeah, and that's where you came from.
Right. Exactly.
Why are we trying to go backwards?
Right.
To the organization you just left.
Yeah. It's funny. I had a group bring me in once, and I dumbfounded that they didn't hire me. I was in the oil and gas industry for 20-something years. Built a company, we sold it, and they came to us, man. We used to work for this big company, and we left because we hated the way it was. Mm-hmm. And I go, well, what's going on here? We're becoming them. All right, great. Let's go fix that.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we need to do? This, and this. That's too hard. Okay, so it's easier going to become them.
Yeah. So yeah, unless you're willing to like fight against that, what you don't want to do,
right?
Then you're eventually going to do exactly what's going to happen. Right?
Yeah, and we get there, and it's, we talk about this discipline, and we talk about everything, and it goes back to the three-headed dragon again: denial, doubt, defiance.
Yep.
I keep going back there. I got to start putting that shit out more on social media, but it's when we're not doing it, we're defiant. We're just not gonna do it, and that's okay. But to realize, you got to accept the fact that you're going to Oregon, not Daytona Beach.
Right. Yeah. And then
that's okay.
Yeah, and that's okay, right? So I think that's kind of where people they fight against, because in their mind they have this notion that we should be a certain thing, or especially in this world, right? Financial services in my world, they think that they should be a certain way, or they should be offering a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just remove kind of those preconceived notions, and this is where we're headed.
Yeah.
Now, how you get there, we have some of the main checkpoints, right? So if we're going here to Florida, we know we're going to go through Louisiana, we're going to go through Mississippi, we're going to go through. Can't avoid those states.
We can.
Unless
it's a very long route if you want to go do that.
Yeah. So in that, I think for a lot of businesses, I'm not saying that as a business owner or even as someone in biz dev that you have to wake up at 3 a.m. You don't have to eat raw eggs. You don't have to do MMA fighting or boxing in order to then come to the office.
Right.
But one thing I will say though is you need to be prepared for your day.
Right.
And knowing that you have a meeting at, let's say, 9 o'clock across town here in Houston, it's going to take you 45 minutes with traffic. Then you know that, okay, if that's at 10 o'clock, that means I'm leaving my house at 9.
Right.
Give yourself the buffer, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically kind of working backwards, where for a lot of people, the struggle is in that discipline, is they just let it happen.
Yeah, letting it happen just doesn't happen. But it was, I got done with the Arnold and I turned on one of Gary Vee, and he was talking about Ricky Rubio, basketball player. Yeah. And he goes, Ricky Rubio could have been the best, one of the best. He said the problem was his 12 to 16 foot jump shot kind of sucked. Mm-hmm. He said the problem was Ricky's making so much money in the summer, he'd rather go across seas and just screw chicks all summer than work on a 16 and 18 foot jump shot.
Yeah.
And he goes, okay, you got where you are, you made a lot of money, but you could have been great.
Yeah.
Instead of average.
You could have been legacy.
You could have been legacy, you could have moved yourself. And that's where you got to be. Look, I look at it this way, average sucks, but if that's what you want, all right, don't get somebody like me to help you. Right. Because I'm not going to pour into your average crap. I'm not. But if you want to be great, you got to get there and you got to go figure out why things aren't working. Yep. And then get yourself motivated to get there. Yep. There's got to be something, I'm going to do some more stuff, and I found out, going to the doc and get some stuff. So why isn't the stuff I'm doing working? Yeah. Let's go talk to my doc. Oh, hey, look, we found some stuff. Yeah. Let's go fix it, and let's keep doing what you were doing. Correct. And now let's see if it gets better.
Don't stop.
Right, exactly. Don't stop. Do what you were doing every day, because you knew it was. We were going to Daytona. We were going east. Yep. We were doing the walking. We were lifting the weights. We were eating. Even though whiskey helps, we weren't drinking as much whiskey. Yeah. That we weren't getting that much help. But we were doing the stuff we needed to do. I was able to get there. So that's where it's coming in and finding experts. Yes. To help you, and then those experts have to kick your ass. Yeah. Because when you're leading a team, you can't be nice to them. Right.
Well, I think that's one of the struggles, I think, for a lot of business owners or even professionals. We can see the value of coaches. We can see the value of mentors in every aspect. Mm-hmm. But rarely do you see it very effectively in small and medium-sized businesses. Right. Large businesses, a lot of times they bring it in. They get somebody like you and they're like, hey, build us a curriculum so that way we can get some of these entry level and build them to leaders.
Yeah, right? but the problem is a lot of those don't either. Mm-hmm. A lot of the big guys, they don't.
Because it's selfish,
it's,
right?
It is.
Oh, I don't want you to then go to our competitor.
Yeah.
Well, then you're not going to train your folks.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, well, hey, we got this guy that's really great. He came in, he killed it. Okay, but that's like trying to teach. I told somebody this the other day. One of the worst baseball coaches ever was Ted Williams. Ted Williams was one of the best hitters ever. But the reason he was the best hitter ever was because his eyesight was so good. On a 90-mile-an-hour pitch, he could see the laces on the ball turning. That allowed him to swing and do what he wants, make the decision quicker. You can't teach that.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get people to do that. Yeah. You gotta, and when you bring in these top performers, a lot of these top performers can't teach shit.
Mm-hmm.
They just do what they do. They don't even know how they do it.
Yep.
And
the worst thing that an organization will do is they're like, hey, you're a top performer, let's put you in a management.
Oh, yeah.
And all of a sudden you wonder why this top performer, all of a sudden their performance falls, and the team that they lead falls because they are teaching things that can't be duplicated.
Yeah, I got a guy that's coming to our cigars and old fashions right now. That's where he was. He was at a big company. He ran. He was their top performer.
Mm-hmm.
They just made him VP of sales, and he hates his life now.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm here. I'm teaching these people. They don't listen. And I go, the problem is, dude, because they're not you.
Yeah.
They don't see what you see. They don't have the same motivation. They don't have the same discipline. And you got to get there, and you haven't created a way to duplicate yourself. Mm-hmm. And so you're struggling. They're struggling. Company sales are going down. Yeah. You need to hire somebody from outside. Hey, like me, because I'm a totally different perspective into it.
And to a certain extent, you don't have as much. You're not in there, so you're not offended by what you're going to be saying to them.
Yeah.
What I'm telling you is, it's in order for you to get better.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about seeing you at the water cooler and now I just offended somebody, right? So that's the difference. I think a lot of times when you have an outside coach is that they're bringing in, number one, a different perspective, expertise, and then less emotion to the advice.
Yeah.
Right. So me leading a team of advisors, I might be careful about telling Mr. Smith, newly hired, brought in a year ago. I might have a harder time delivering that critical feedback because I know that he's got the wife, he's got the kids, he's got the family, he's got all the things that I know about him personally that I know that he can't do it.
Yeah.
Right?
You get it. And I tell my clients, you gotta be like, I'm a big fan of Ted Lasso. If you watch Ted Lasso, he says be a goldfish.
Yes.
Let it go through. And I tell my clients to be a duck. Just let it. You got to let stuff off your back, and you got to take what you need. I had a guy. He's like, Mike, man, I need you. Start up here. Da, 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 da. And he came to one of my whiteboards in whiskey events. I actually introduced him to 3 people that he could go team with. He actually got a job with one of them, and he's like, dude, I need to get in your next thing. I go, all right, dude, it's normally $1,000 a month. I'm letting you in for $300.
Yeah.
I just need you in there, and then as you progress, you will pay me more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to my wife, can't do that.
Okay.
Why? Well, she said, okay, what does your wife have to do with the company?
Yeah.
Oh, your wife wants you to go back to corporate America. Is that it? She wants you to quit, give up your dream, go where you want. Oh, don't say that about my wife. Dude, I'm not saying, I'm just trying to point out obvious.
Right.
So this is it. I ran into him at an event the other day. Hey man, how's it going? You done any work with those 3 guys yet? No. They're waiting for you to call. Oh, okay. So what do I need to call for? I already set you up. Now, if you were with me, would I have moved you through a little bit? Yeah. But now you're going out, running all these things. He's looking for these other silver bullets.
Yes.
I think we get it.
Yeah,
I'm looking for these other silver bullets that I can go kill the monster.
Yeah.
And there ain't no freaking silver bullets out there. The silver bullets is getting up every day, doing your communication, do what you got to do, reach out, talk, and do what you need to do. And it's not just social media posting. It is not just like in my business, cold calling really doesn't work. And I don't think in your business, cold calling doesn't work.
Especially not in 2024.
No, it just doesn't. It doesn't. It was going out, meeting people, getting referred in. Yeah. It's building relationship and doing that. And that takes effort. And it takes time.
Yes.
And kind of doing for that. But it's the discipline to go do it.
Correct.
Every week, setting up things in your schedule, bringing people to you. I think it's much better if you bring people to you than you go to them.
Yes. Well, I think that's just human nature, right? We're impatient.
Yeah.
So you talk about the weight, right? Would it be quote unquote easier for you and I to go see a gastroenterologist, right?
Yeah.
Just give me a tummy tuck, cut me out, right? Like just cut this fat off.
Yeah, but it's not.
Sure, it could be done, but it won't create any kind of discipline that's lasting.
Yeah, it won't eliminate the root cause.
So that's where it's like, okay, well, I want to make revenue. Let me just go make one big sale, one big client. And we don't have a process, we have no idea how we'll get there, but let's just do it, right?
Okay.
And so sometimes in business, we can run across that, we can run into that. And so where I think a lot of times is that discipline on the daily disciplines that you and I put in, whether it's the networking, the phone calls, the connecting, the marketing, the response on emails, whatever those tasks are, they have to be done.
Yeah, yeah. And
no matter what.
But the have to be done doesn't mean they have to be done by you.
Correct.
That's one of the more important things is what can you sub out? You know, I got my assistant, she does a lot. We've just brought in some AI stuff, some scheduling stuff, where I can go schedule like 2 weeks of social media posts in about 2 hours.
Yes.
And I can take AI and use AI to edit for me.
Yes.
And then I edit back after it. Because if you watch guys like Neil Patel, these big guys say don't do everything all in AI because you will get blocked.
Yep.
And people won't trust you.
Yes.
Well, which is obviously right. They shouldn't trust you if you're doing everything with AI.
Correct.
Because you don't know shit then.
Yeah.
And
but it's still got to sound like it comes from you.
Right.
Human.
Yeah. But here it is. Look at what's out there and go leverage what you can leverage. Because when we did our event the other day, like I told you, the first Whiteboards and Whiskey event in the last 25 that I've done, that the two main topics weren't business development and people.
Yeah.
It was actually time management, and the time management really came down to what we started with: discipline and motivation.
Yeah.
You will manage your time better if you're disciplined and you're motivated.
Yeah. Well, and that motivation doesn't mean that we're always listening to the Rocky montage and we're ready to go, sledgehammer and break stones. And, motivation a lot of times looks very much like, I don't want to do this, but I'm here anyway.
Motivation is the things that you and I have to go through. Hey, Dad, it was great to see you. I want to spend more time with you. Mm-hmm. That's motivation. That's the things we want to do. And we've got to do that. Hey, Dad, you were working so much. I missed you this weekend.
Yeah.
That hurts. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that we need to get to. So I know you got to get on a call here in a minute. Let's wrap this one up. So we got a nice little 18, 19-minute segment. So one last piece of advice.
Yeah, so what I would tell any business owner out there is have a look at what are you doing, what is your team doing in your discipline, whether it's attending networking events, connecting with centers of influence, giving out referrals in order to get referrals. What are you doing to be able to make sure that you're consistently doing what needs to get done that's going to drive your business?
Right, yeah, no, that's it. That's it right there. Get it. Figure out where you're going, how you're going to get there. Know that you got to head east or head west. Don't worry about all the pit stops. Start going that way. As you start going that way, it's going to help you. My name is Michael Rager. I own Whiteboards and Whiskey. Come out and see us at an event here in Houston. We're looking to franchise as well. Sherman.
All right, here, raging on. Sherman, Michael, we're out. Have a great day, everybody.
Later. 17 minutes.